Hello everyone. I'm here today to talk about one of our presidential candidates, Donald Trump. Now, this election is extremely close right now, which means that Donald Trump could very well become our next president. So I'm not going to mince my words. I'm here to explain why Donald Trump's election could be the single greatest disaster for the United States in the last 40 years. So to start this series off, let's talk about Trump's fascination and love for totalitarian dictators. For years, Trump has had cozy relations with so-called strongmen who rule their country with an iron fist and threaten to kill any dissenters. Examples? For starters, in 2009, Trump offered to rent his properties to the Libyan dictator Muammar Gadaffi, a man who regularly raped 15-year-old schoolgirls and who made a habit of bombing his own people. On a debate stage this February, Trump said, "We would be so much better off if Gaddafi were in charge right now." Although he did concede that Gaddafi was, quote, really bad, he added that his tactics were effective. These tactics included massacring children, eliminating potential political opponents, and, in one instance, allegedly shooting down a passenger plane as a gesture of anger towards the West. Never mind that he later flip-flopped on that stance, as he is more than prone to do. Given this, it should come as no surprise that Trump said of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad, who makes a habit of implementing chemical warfare on those who dare to oppose his rule, "I think in terms of leadership, he's getting an A, and our president is not doing so well." Think for a second about what kind of man would praise the leadership of a ruthless tyrant who massacres his own people, and think about what kind of leadership that man would implement in our own country. But I haven't even started to reach the best parts. Let's talk about Saddam Hussein. Now, Donald Trump brought up the point that the former Iraqi dictator was, quote, good at killing terrorists. He elaborated with admiration, "He did that so good. They didn't read them the rights. They didn't talk. They were terrorists." First, I want to make clear that Trump is referencing actions by Hussein's secret police that were responsible for up to 200,000 disappearances during Hussein's reign. Granted, some of those 200,000 likely were terrorists, but others were political opponents, Kurds, or anyone who dared to threaten his power. And Trump was absolutely right that they didn't read them the rights. He imprisoned and murdered them in cold blood with nearly no trail. In Trump's mind, this is an admirable trait. Next, I should mention Trump's awe for the North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un, who has been working hard on building a nuclear weapon and who has published propaganda videos of his military nuking the United States. Of course, Trump can't be bothered to have a competent, detailed strategy against North Korea. Instead, he has said of Kim Jong Un, "You gotta give him credit. How many young guys, he was like 26 or 25 when his father died, take over these tough generals, and all of a sudden he goes in, he takes over, and he's the boss. It's incredible." This is Trump's attitude to one of the most terrible human beings alive today, and perhaps the most totalitarian regime on the planet. Oh, and by the way, North Korea has endorsed Donald Trump for president. Okay, I have to reserve some time for Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. And yes, this is the Vladimir Putin who imprisons prominent national figures who dare to expose Putin's corruption. This is the man who rigs his elections, who kills and imprisons journalists who disagree with him, who allows rampant discrimination against gay people, and regularly invades any and every country that can't put up a fair fight. Donald Trump praises Putin's high approval numbers, apparently not understanding that Putin runs a country in which disapproving of him may put you or your family at risk. In 2007, Trump said that Putin is doing a great job. In 2011, he praised Putin's intelligence and, I quote, his no-nonsense way of acting. It's chilling to even imagine what that is referring to. In 2013, he discussed the possibility of Putin being his new best friend. And then after Putin unsurprisingly praised Trump in late 2015 and called him the best candidate, Trump said, "It's always a great honor to be so nicely complimented by a man so highly respected within his own country and beyond." When he was confronted with the fact that Putin kills journalists who disagree with him, Trump actually defended him, saying he's running his country and at least he's a leader, unlike what we have in this country. I think our country does plenty of killing also. He later reiterated this point and called Putin a stronger leader than President Obama, which I guess is true if your definition of strength is imposing a dictatorship, eliminating freedom of speech, and invading any country that you can get your hands on. No wonder Trump hired Paul Manafort as his campaign manager, a man who worked for pro-Russian politicians in the Ukraine. No wonder he has discussed breaking up NATO and fulfilling Vladimir Putin's wildest dreams. It's hard to even comprehend it all. These are the men who Donald Trump admires. These are the people who he tries to embody. So the next time Donald Trump jokes about assassinating his opponent or expresses his desire to punch protesters in the face, remember where it's coming from. Donald Trump can never, ever, ever be allowed to become the President of the United States. Thanks for listening.